I look at the state of education, especially in Louisiana, where we're still ranking pretty low, and the rest of America going what and what with Mississippi, which to me is not a compliment whatsoever. But when you look at the state of education, you have people, I mentioned redlining a little bit earlier, and you have people who send their children out of their Black communities into schools, into spaces where they're not seen or heard, where the likes of a Martin Luther King, of an Al Sharpton, of anyone of those likes are rarely mentioned except during a performative MLK Day. I still happy MLK Day in a few days of February, a few days of February. But they don't see themselves. See, I never associated myself as being a minority because my parents put me in a Black elementary, middle, high school. Then I graduated from a Black college, GVC. So yeah, you super Black. Yeah, I don't know. It's like super Black. I'm always like, I can't relate. I can't relate. But I can say there are people who I explain to my friends about putting their children in certain schools, public schools, and there are some Black private schools here as well. St. Augustine, St. Mary's Academy. But they put them in schools where they're not seen and they're not seeing themselves. They don't see a reflection of themselves. You had that situation. I have always wholeheartedly disagreed with it. Even though some people said that it's almost like the person that says they have a HBCU on a PWI campus. Yeah. Well, how is it that we can get kids the education that they need and the schools that they're in and the communities where they see themselves without having to completely separate themselves and find themselves in a predicament of not knowing who they are or what they are?
That is another tough place that I had to reopen things that happened to me when I was young in schools. I never went to a Black school. Imagine that. My parents were the Blackest people. I never went to a Black school, but they were trying to keep me safe because all the schools where it was primarily Black, all around, it was dangerous. There was a lot of fighting, people, doing drugs and everything else in the building. So my parents were making the best decision possible,
Right.
for my safety. And meanwhile, my mind was trapped because I was in a space where people, by the way, the people who knew that my parents were the super Black activists,
Right.
they hated that because of it. Yeah, they hate the because of that.
Yeah.
So I would say that in my books, I talk about in both of my books, State of Emergency and my memoir, whereas you got to be real careful where your children get educated, because I think what it taught me was that it gave me this impression that I wasn't pretty, right? Like I was out the door, like, oh, I don't look good, I'm not attractive.
I used to always think I was too dark.
Oh man, I wanted somebody to like straighten my hair. It's down there. It's Creole. That's the way exactly. And it was Latino. Like, that was the thing. Your hair needed to be straight. And my skin, I was just like, please, like I don't look right. I didn't feel like my body was so skinny, right? Little skinny girl. I didn't feel like I had the thing, so I always felt bad. So I think to answer your question though, on a deeper level, is that we're going to have to build it. The institutions, no one is going to give us anything. And by the way, we're in a time now where it's actually about to be that you will lose federal resources if they find out that you're teaching specific genders and races, any kind of literature.
So right. How do we build it? We don't have the money for it.
Well, we have so much money, $1.8 trillion in spending that we do every year. When people tell me they don't have money, I do not agree with that. I don't think that we have challenges in the way money is distributed. I get that.
Right.
But we have so much wealth that we could build anything that we want. We just have to be disciplined enough to do it. We have to see the need, which is the only thing about this moment that we're in politically in this nation that I think is going to force us to have to do some things an old way. We used to have to raise money for our candidates in the kitchen of the house. We had to have basement functions, basement like a
Medgar Evers and Elias, Edith House,
Dr. King had to go to people's houses to meet with SNCC to meet with Stokely Carmichael and others. Like, this is what they did. So we're going to have to go back to that, because you're not going to plan the revolution on Instagram. That's not going to happen. Even Zoom, like, we had this drive to one another tower from beginner to huddle. It's not exactly. I didn't think we could build institutions. I know that more people are going to want their children, because folks that are sitting there looking at their daughter or son changing into something unrecognizable, meaning that they don't have any reference
Right.
for their history, that's going to start making people concerned.
Right.
And I hope that it means that we'll move to the point of saying Saturday school, we're actually going, from 10 to 12 on Saturdays. Like, that's what I did. So my parents, they definitely compensated, because while I was going to these schools on Saturdays, they were like, and we going to these rallies, we're going to these programs. You're going to,
well, you had an advantage where you had two parents who actually knew they were steeped in this.
Yeah.
We are at a point right now where you have some parents that I've spoken with, who are not necessarily doing their due diligence with their children to make sure that they know these things. And so what happens is they come to me, or I meet them wherever they are, and I'm trying to pick up the pieces that I can never help you with the foundation. The foundation isn't there. So all I got is loose bricks. And I'm trying to piece it together. And your mind can't comprehend it. And you don't want to follow me. You're not following me. And if I go to talk to your mother about it, she ain't really with me either.
Oh.
So how do I want to?
Well, I do think, though, first of all, persistence is key. I know it's hard. That's what my life has been about. That no matter who says, why you here, we don't want to work on that, I find 10 people who do, right? And I start with those 10 people. I no longer am looking for 100 people to join me everywhere. It says, that's cool. Sometimes it works. But those 10, they know at least one other person, and you start building study. That gives you a foundation. I'm sure that's going to happen. It always has. If you look at our history, every time people meant something for bad, we found a way to come out better on the other side. We will, from this moment, have more people who are more interested in the history, in politics. Because, so many people now, it's like, I don't know what happened. You got people who were super involved who were like, I can't be bothering you. Don't tell me about politics. I don't want to see it. I don't want to did I? But then you got people who knew nothing who were calling me like, girl, tell me, what is this law? What are they doing? I'm like, oh, so you were part of my 10.
Yeah.
I got a new 10.
Right.
I'll go back and get you. I will. My Ira homegirl, Tesla Figueroa, says, I'm not going back. I'm Harriet. We gone.
Right.
I go back. I'll go back and get you.
I guess. Thank you.
Thank you. We can talk to at least more than that.
Yeah, we could have kept going all day. Now we just need to add cocktails too.
I know, right? Take care of yourself out there, because it's unsafe in environments with certain types of people. I learned my lesson about that.
I sure is. I'm about to start running out.
Yeah.
Right.